Alright, welcome back to another awesome episode of Road TRIpVIA, the once-a-day road trip trivia quiz. Today's episode is number 617. The category is Harrison Ford movies. This is a 20-question trivia quiz with a question 21 tiebreaker at the very end. I'll give you a little description of the movie, maybe the year, maybe a co-star. You'll tell me which Harrison Ford movie title it is. Good luck on today's quiz. Alright, question 1. Though we famously pitched the idea of Han Solo getting killed off in Return of the Jedi to George Lucas, it wasn't until what film in the Star Wars franchise that Harrison Ford's character actually died? Han Solo dies in The Force Awakens. Question number 2. Directed by George Lucas and produced by Francis Ford Coppola, what 1973 American coming-of-age comedy film featuring Harrison Ford as Bob Falfa tells the story of a group of teenagers and their adventures over the course of one night? The answer is American Graffiti. Question number 3. What 2015 romantic fantasy film stars Blake Lively in the title role as a young woman who stops aging after being brought back to life following a car accident, and co-stars Harrison Ford as her love interest who ages normally? The answer is The Age of Adeline. Question 4. Though the film has been made at least 4 times, the 2020 version of what movie, based on Jack London's 1903 novel, stars Harrison Ford and was probably the biggest commercial failure, losing the studio an estimated $50 to $100 million? The other 3 probably didn't make much, but they didn't lose $100 million. The answer is Call of the Wild. Question number 5. In both the 1982 original and the 2017 sequel of what film, Harrison Ford plays Rick Deckard, an ex-policeman who becomes a special agent with a mission to exterminate a group of violent androids? The answer is Blade Runner. Question number 6. Filmed on location in Kauai, what 1998 action film starred Harrison Ford and Anne Heche, who get stranded on a deserted island following a plane crash and must avoid pirates and salvage the plane in order to return home? The name of that film was 6 Days, 7 Nights. Question number 7. Taking over for Alec Baldwin, who starred in the role of Jack Ryan in 1990's The Hunt for Red October, Harrison Ford played the part of the CIA analyst Jack Ryan in what 1992 sequel? The sequel to Hunt for Red October was Patriot Games. Question 8. In the third movie in the Tom Clancy trilogy of movies, Harrison Ford reprises his role as Jack Ryan in what film where he is appointed CIA acting deputy director and discovers he is being kept in the dark about certain strategies by his CIA colleagues? The name of that film is A Clear and Present Danger. Question number 9. What is the title of the 1979 Western comedy film starring Gene Wilder as Avram Belinsky, a Polish rabbi who is traveling to San Francisco, and Harrison Ford as a bank robber who befriends him? The answer is The Frisco Kid. Question 10. In what series of films does Harrison Ford play Dr. Henry Walton Jones, a tenured professor of archaeology at Marshall College who researches and explores ancient artifacts, often with a supernatural aspect involved? Little bit of a trick question there. Dr. Henry Walton Jones is also known as Indiana Jones. Question number 11. In what 2002 Harrison Ford historical film that takes place in 1961 does the story focus on the Soviet hotel-class submarine that shares its name with the title of the movie? The answer is K-19, The Widowmaker. Question number 12. Based on the 1985 Orson Scott Card novel with the same name, what 2013 science fiction film stars Asia Butterfield as the title character and Harrison Ford as the principal who recruited and trained him at battle school? The answer is Ender's Game. Question 13. Harrison Ford stars as U.S. President James Marshall, a former decorated helicopter rescue pilot, Vietnam veteran, and Medal of Honor recipient, who attempts to rescue all of the hostages when his plane is hijacked in what 1997 movie? The answer is Air Force One. Question 14. What 2013 American sports film stars Chadwick Boseman as baseball player Jackie Robinson, the first black athlete to play in Major League Baseball, and Harrison Ford as Branch Rickey, the Brooklyn Dodgers owner who signed him? The answer is 42. Question 15. Mac Tannen, the most famous nightly news anchor in New York, played by Harrison Ford, reveals that he is retiring and he intends to promote Veronica Corningstone, making her the first female nightly news anchor in what 2013 movie? The name of this movie is Anchorman 2: The Legend Continues. Question 16. In what 1993 movie did Harrison Ford play Dr. Richard Kimball, and Tommy Lee Jones won the Oscar for Best Supporting Actor for playing Deputy Marshal Samuel Gerard, who pursued him after he escaped from prison? Lots of hints in that question. The answer is The Fugitive. Question 17. The first film produced by CBS Films, what 2010 medical drama stars Brendan Fraser and Kerry Russell as the parents of two children suffering from Pompe disease, and Harrison Ford as Robert Stonehill, a clinical researcher who attempts to help them? The name of that movie was Extraordinary Measures. Question 18. What 2003 buddy cop action film stars Harrison Ford as a financially strapped homicide detective who moonlights as a real estate agent and his new partner, a young detective who teaches yoga and wants to be an actor, played by Josh Hartnett? The answer is Hollywood Homicide. Question 19. Another box office bomb, what 1995 movie, a remake of the 1954 movie with the same name, stars Harrison Ford as Linus Larrabee, the older brother of David Larrabee, played by Greg Kinnear, in his first starring film role? The answer is Sabrina. Question 20. What is the title of the 2000 American supernatural horror thriller film directed by Robert Zemeckis, starring Harrison Ford and Michelle Pfeiffer as a couple who lives in a haunted house? The name of that movie was What Lies Beneath. Alright, that is it for today. Thank you for watching today's episode. Make sure you check back tomorrow. It will be Thursday. We'll be doing another trivia quiz. Not sure what the category is yet, but doing this trivia quiz, same thing happened when I did Denzel Washington movies. There's a lot of movies on here that I've probably heard of once or twice, but not very often, that I don't know if I've ever seen. I may have seen a long time ago, but it made me make a list basically through 1 through 20 of movies that I need to see again, including Age of Adeline, Call of the Wild. I know that one, they said it didn't do very good, but I want to see it. While writing this quiz, I watched clips from like Anchorman 2 and The Fugitive and Hollywood Homicide, and I just need to go back and watch all of those because Harrison Ford, great actor, been doing it for a long time, and even the ones that don't do very well in the theaters usually stick around and people enjoy for a long time. So I will be watching some Harrison Ford movies this weekend. Here is one that I have seen and I will not be watching again. Question 21, the tiebreaker for today. What was the title of the 2011 space western whose plot revolves around an outlaw played by Daniel Craig, a wealthy cattleman played by Harrison Ford, and a mysterious traveler played by Olivia Wilde, who must ally to save a group of townspeople abducted by extraterrestrials? If you haven't seen this movie, that may have thrown you off. A 2011 space western where a group of townspeople are abducted by extraterrestrials. It's worth watching once just for the sheer novelty of it, but it is not worth watching twice, except for Olivia Wilde. The answer is Cowboys and Aliens. Thank you for watching today's episode of Road TRIpVIA. Check back tomorrow. I'll have the trivia loaded for this one because I'll be hosting live trivia at the club tomorrow night. So I won't be here during the premiere, but I will be here when I host Friday's trivia, which will be a Trebek trivia. Thank you guys for watching. See you tomorrow.